Welcome to the CMO Spotlight, and I'm so excited to have this conversation today with Dan Csont, who is the EVP and Chief Marketing Officer of Corpay.
It doesn't really matter where you start, it's what you do with the components as you go through your career. A CMO having a CPA and starting off as an accountant doesn't sound very intuitive, but I'll be honest, what it did is it showed exactly what I didn't want to do. I realized pretty quickly that I didn't want to keep score. I wanted to put points on the board. I wanted to be at the front of the business, not the back office. Sometimes learning that direct by doing it is actually very helpful. I think it's really important for people to view their career in building blocks and try to fill in as many blocks as possible to create a strong foundation. Some people I've noticed over the years, if they get promoted too quickly or they get too single-threaded, then they aren't able to expand and do more things. And you can build a bigger house on a bigger foundation. So the more jobs you can do in a younger age, when it's easier to move around between roles and get experience, whether it's promotion or whether it's lateral, that I believe really sets you up for later in your career to do bigger, broader roles. A mentor gave me some advice a long time ago that maybe it was a little late, but I guess it was early enough, was, that a career is a marathon, not a sprint. It really is true. You do need to think of it over a period of time rather than just running after things over and over. I was able to do a lot of different roles early in my career, especially at AT&T, that then set me up to have broader roles and bigger teams later. Try to see as many things as you can, whether it's, different companies or different areas within companies, and try to get experience at a corporate level as well as at a business unit level or, in the trenches as much as possible, because it pays so many dividends later when you kind of seen both sides of the equation, and it gives you some credibility as you move through your career. Relationships and collaboration, the two things are very linked. I've spent a lot of time figuring out how to work successfully with different people and work collaboratively across different types of folks, and really learning how to, there's a lot more to this than just word collaboration is such a general term, like many business oriented words. What it's about is really understanding what makes people tick, learning about people, and then understanding how they're going to interact together, rather than going in with, hey, this is my style and I'm going to do it my way and everyone's just going to kind of come along for the ride. I've been a part of many teams that had leaders like that, and I realized number one, that's not me, and number two, that's not the environment I want to work in. Sometimes it's effective because you can get things done, but you leave a lot of debris on the side of the road. And sometimes, you pick an idea, get behind it, push everybody, and it's the wrong idea. So to me, collaboration is really about hearing everyone's voice. It's about orchestrating how people can work together on a team and emphasizing people's strengths, giving them the pieces that emphasize their strengths and others their strengths. And that's really the key to I think the superpower. I would just point out three, and I'll kind of talk about each one a little bit. I think trust is probably the most important one. Building trust at every level is, I think, critical to getting things done. The second is respect, both getting the respect of folks that are more senior to you, as well as building respect with folks that you work with or work for you. And then the last one is really integrity. Doing things the right way. And integrity is another one of those words like collaboration that people say, okay, it's kind of table stakes, but I view it a little bit differently. It's not just not doing bad things. It's having integrity in the way you approach things and expecting it from the people that work with you and for you. And it really works with trust. Do you trust these folks, and do you trust them to make decisions that are going to have integrity? That's how these values to me work together and help both a leader and a team. You too, and for some very specific reasons. So they're first of all, they're probably my favorite band of all time. But as a marketer, the thing that amazes me about them and that inspires me is they've been around since the mid-70s. They've evolved their brand and who they are and their music 4 or 5 times. and yet they are still U2. There's not many bands that have done that. You've got these bands like the Stones and Eagles that have been around a long time, but they've not evolved through every decade. And to be able to do that and almost reinvent themselves each time, but still have a common sound is, I think, inspiring.